spell producing or creature producing spells.
Definitely.
So it's going to be really awkward just to see. Craig Wesco's going to get a really aggressive start in order to deal with these styles. Does Craig have a way to? He's got.
He does have go for. So I think where we're going to come down to, we've seen a lot of these red-green. Ryan Kibler this weekend introduced a Naya pod deck, which is really more of a red-green aggro deck with 2 birthing pods.
Yeah.
Nicholas Lassen, definitely the old school. He's 4 birthing pods. He's all about the birthing pod chain.
Right.
Craig's going to have to kill him before Nicholas. These games are going to end in Elesh Norn for Nicholas. His goal: survive, make it to Elesh Norn, close out the game.
Right.
Wesco's going to hope that we don't get that far.
I definitely like this list of pod. It's a little bit different from some of the standard lists that I've been seeing lately. He started playing Vorapede, which I believe Kibler started playing originally and said that he was a really big fan of. He's got the standard 1 Worm Coil, 1 Inferno Titan, 2 Fiend Hunters. A lot of the lists only play 1.
I remember last time noting Nicholas really conveniently organized his deck list by converted mana cost. So when you look at it, has a way to build up the whole chain. He has some cards won't be so good here. Fiend Hunter, well, there's not too much. I mean, there's Hero Bladehold.
That's definitely going to be a problem if he lands one of those. But hopefully he'll just have an Elesh Norn before then. Like, this deck can ramp to Elesh Norn so fast, and that's obviously a huge problem for any creature deck. One thing that Craig Wesco has in his favor is the fact that Nicholas only has 2 Huntmasters in his list.
Huntmaster, an excellent card against the token strategy. Really, where Craig can pull the game out with these tokens decks is it's the second Anthem that really closes the game for him. Things like, for example, Lassen has a Daybreak Ranger on his board, a Huntmaster in the main, cards that are really great at dealing 2. If Wesco lands a second Anthem, even something like Elesh Norn stops being an out for Lassen.
Right. So we started the game already. Craig Wesco did not have a turn 1 play.
Right, and he only has 1 turn 1 play. His game really starts on 2. He has he has 8. He has 8. Champion and Doom Traveler. Wesco with the
Champion. They late $1 short.
Guess what I drew play. And Strangler
Guys bringing the beats.
And Wesco, interesting. He's going to opt.
Trade.
Probably means his hand is more Lingering Souls, less humans.
Strangleroot will persist or undie, I guess it is.
Right. Blade Splicer. So Craig Wesco on the defensive here, actually. A different place for him to be. He does have Vault of the Archangel in his deck, which is good if he's on the defensive. And if Lassen doesn't have a Birthing Pod, Craig actually can eventually go over the top in this match.
Right.
And
he does have the Vault
play, and the Lingering Souls. Probably the single card that made this archetype possible. But facing on kind of an intimidating board, I would say.
Yeah.
And just more creatures for Lassen.
That's the thing I love the most about the Naya pod list is you're not a pod deck. You're an aggressive Naya deck that has pod.
Right.
And it's so much fun just to crush people, essentially.
Even in all evolutions of it. Like I said, we had a Killer's deck is actually just red-green, but Naya pod also great.
Right.
Craig's gonna block here. Remember, he doesn't actually have a sweeper, so he's gonna have to deal with the Strangleroot Geists fairly.
The top 8 of this event. You will sort your deck, and then you will bring that deck to Kevin Long.
Lassen misses his fourth land drop, which so suddenly Craig doesn't have to be as in fear of a larger creature.
I feel like Craig is playing like he has a sweeper. I don't know if they know each other's deck lists or not. I don't think they do, but he keeps trading with these Strangleroot Geist, trying to represent that he might have a day.
Lingering Souls could go either way. I think Champion of the Parish is the key there of I'm playing aggro. But what he has done, he has Hero of Bladehold here. Hero profitably blocks all these creatures, but Craig's going to continue making more tokens.
I think he knows that he's playing aggro, but he might just randomly be playing Dave Judgment too. He has him in the sideboard, so it seems reasonable that he might have him in the main deck as well.
That's fair. Yeah, the cool part of the tokens deck is stay on this board. Craig could day and then untap and make 4/1/1s again.
Yeah, exactly.
His life total will get pretty low here. If Vault is good to fix that problem. So Craig can actually let himself get more low than you would normally expect an aggro player to do.
Right. And if he's playing the way he's representing, it's definitely going to make Nicholas think about how he's going to keep extending into the board. Although now he's double blocking creatures.
Nicholas's spells, really all creatures. For Birthing Pod, all creatures. So, you know, he makes a block like that. And there's the pod that's very dangerous for Craig. So yeah, the pod, but I mean, will eventually turn the Strangleroot Geist, you know, into an Elesh Norn. Or really at this point, you know, into another Blade Splicer is almost just as bad. Craig casting a third Lingering Souls and flashing it back. I think he's definitely on the Vault plan right now.
Yeah.
Nicholas can't really attack here either because he doesn't want to have to start his chain over from 0. Unless he actually has a 4-drop, in which case, well, that's excellent.
He could easily have a 3-drop, just start potting up from there too.
Or I believe, or another Geist here is really dangerous.
Oh.
And he does, so he can, you know, he'll pot it immediately.
Pot it up too, yep.
Getting, I believe, probably Blade Splicer.
That seems reasonable. Oh, no,
Fiend
just
Hunter
clear the way a little bit. Try to push through some damage. Seems like a fine play because now the tokens they can't trade with the Geist.
Right. Remember, yeah, the token won't come back, so it's just a removal spell. He can get him into a range where Fiend Hunter can turn into Huntmaster the Fowls and flip immediately because Birthing Pod's not a spell. So as long as he gets Craig to 2 here, that'll be enough to, for the most part, just kill him. Yeah, really rough situation for Craig. Nicholas was just a little too fast here.
I always like watching really solid players like Craig play, just because I feel like they're going to make the right play. Even if I'm sitting here watching the game with perfect information, I'm like, oh, I don't know what I'd do here. A lot of the times, even without perfect information, a player as solid as him is going to make the optimal play.
Right. One of the best things I like about watching plays, you know, he's so familiar with the white aggro archetype. You know, he won't tell you it's the best archetype out there, but he'll tell you he believes he knows it well enough that it's the best archetype for him in any tournaments. You know, say this board state, it was probably a game he couldn't win, and like, I mean, if you talk to him about it, he's very comfortable with the fact of, oh, that was a start I probably couldn't beat. But you know, but if he's playing appropriately to his outs anyway, and you know, I really, that sort of attitude is really a good one to have.
Yeah, yeah.
Gather the townsfolk, and it is the fateful hour, so that'll be 5 1/1s.
That is, he needs that real bad right about now.
In his hand, he also has Midnight Haunting, but I think he opts not to flash back Lingering Souls. He does have Go for the Throat in his deck, maybe in his hand, I would believe. He also has Summary. He has 3 lands up. Sorry, and I've missed that. Does. So actually, he may have Midnight Haunting.
Yeah,
which I believe he does. So
yeah, that
not Go for the Throat.
Seems about right. Nicholas is in the tank here.
You know, Craig with a really strong play, but you still have to feel, you know, I think you just pod into a Huntmaster and then flip it, and it's really
I
mean, him at 1.
If Craig gets to untap with 5 guys in play in a vault, like
so Craig
he can either trade his team to leave Nicholas with just a Huntmaster, which doesn't seem like, well, that's what he wants to do.
Interesting. So the 2 options there would have been, you know, anything from single chump blocking to multiple, to, you know, what he just did there. A wide range of plays. If he has another Fate Gather the Townsfolk.
I feel like I would have just played the Huntmaster.
Well, yeah, the problem with playing birds there is this Huntmaster he gets isn't going to flip.
Yeah. And now that just gives so much more value if Craig does have the Midnight Haunting right here.
Right. Actually, he's going to get another Strangleroot Geist.
Oh, if he gets a Thalia right here, then Craig can't play the Midnight Haunting. Oof.
He's going to. Oh, and Craig should have responded to that. Remember, you have to respond to the activation. You can't say, oh, in response to Thalia. Really, kind of got next leveled there.
Craig's feeling it right now. He's like, man, I should have done that in response.
He may have to, I think, on his turn, just simply flash back 2 Lingering Souls.
Yeah, I think that... I don't know if he has another land.
Yep, he has 2 black sources, so, you know... He has the Isolated Chapel at the bottom of your screen, and then the Swamp next to it. He also has a Hero Bladehold in his hand, which he has never really found the time to cast. And remember, Nicholas Lassen also does have a second, I think second and third Fiend Hunter.
He just has a second right now.
Just a second? Okay.
Yeah. Craig draws a Go for the Throat. Definitely gives him...
Remember, Go for the Throat costs 3
It does.
right now, so... Thalia really cramping his style.
Exactly.
You guys all got to participate in the Gold Rush, but
I feel like had Nicholas taken the route to just go get a Huntmaster here, then Craig might not have the information that he has Thalia.
We have 42 judges
he's going to have to take out the Thalia.
Make this event great for you
and
guys.
then
Flashback if you could, please join me in giving them a round of applause for this weekend.
We're applauding our judges for the weekend for the main event.
Now, for those of you who are very quick at math, there were actually 43 judge foils over the last 7 years. And I have conferred with some of the higher level judges, and we have chosen
Nicholas is in the tank here
to receive the last Judge Gold Rush.
Attack.
And that is Matt Williams, level 2 from Florida.
If Craig takes it here, he's pretty dead.
Yep, he can't afford to take it here because the pod will go at Huntmaster, will flip Huntmaster, and will end the game.
I feel like Craig knows.
Maybe it's Huntmaster being flipped to the turn it's played, not exactly your most typical play. But yeah, I think Craig's going to have to just, you know, put a blocker in front here, or
draw a Slaughter Pact.
Or draw a Slaughter Pact.
It's always your out.
Yep. All right, makes the right choice. No free wins yet, but
I hope no one's tweeting right now telling me that Slaughter Pact's not in the format. I do know that Slaughter Pact's not in the format. I was just kidding. Oh, into another Thalia, backing it up.
Back into another Thalia, podding, and then we'll pod into the Huntmaster. It's got to be his other 4-drop possibilities. He has a Metamorph. He could get a Hero Bladehold here as well, which actually is almost just a threat.
Yeah, Hero Bladehold seems like a fine play right here too. Craig is really on the ropes. He needs to be able to untap with some guys in play to get some value out of that vault.
All he has his own Hero Bladehold. Thalia is one of those really good, high-value cards.
Yeah, it's so good.
Our last matchup, we saw Lassen beat a Tezzeret control deck twice, almost just on the back of a turn 2 Thalia both times.
Yep. I originally wasn't playing it in my pod list, and then he went and got the Solemn. Maybe he's just trying to, if he has an Inferno Titan in his hand, and he's just trying to get to that as quickly as possible, that would make a lot of sense as well.
Right, because that's a win, which is unavoidable. But actually, he doesn't get the second red, so he actually doesn't have another red for Inferno Titan right now. And by the fact that Solon didn't get a red, makes me think he probably doesn't have that.
That is true.
Yeah, I mean, there is Nicholas's main plan of winning, which is, resolve Elishnorn, which, he's well on the way to. Craig hanging onto the ropes, but Nicholas has a bunch of knockout punches, so to speak. Craig drawing another token card of some sort. I'm not sure which one.
It looks like three
Midnight Hauntings
in his hand, yeah.
It's not going to be much help, really.
Now with that Thalia in play and him stuck on... I don't even say stuck on lands. He's got 5 lands. It seems like plenty.
Cast Hero.
Cast Hero and say go.
Still some hope yet. At 5, there's Vorapede, Archon of Justice, and Acidic Slime for Nicholas Lassen. I think Vorapede very scary here, but there's a lot of plays which Craig will be hard pressed to deal with.
Oh, he's got a
Fiend Hunter there, and that should be. I don't see how Craig comes back from this.
Craig goes to 1. It's a really uphill battle. Solemn's going to go away. Draws card.
At this point, it's almost just free information by what you get here.
Yeah. Which Craig is going to take full advantage of all. He's going to milk this for every free information he can get. He's going to keep playing his Midnight Hauntings and see what else he can figure out about Nicholas's deck.
Okay, and he goes for Vorapede.
Right.
I almost feel like there I'd go for Acidic Slime. Acidic Slime's not really a surprise card out of Nyos. There's no information in getting it. I think it's still just a win.
I think that's a very fair play. To go get
Craig will concede the first game. So Nicholas Lassen up a game on Craig Wesco. Once again, they are playing for a top 8 spot. This is our 9th and final round of the Standard Open.
Craig had not played a Midnight Haunting yet that game, had he?
No, Thalia really... Midnight Haunting at 4, no longer a very good card.
Right. So Craig might have just conceded there to not give him the information of knowing that he has Midnight Haunting.
Possibly. It's a good point. At this point, it's a safe assumption that Craig's playing Midnight Haunting.
Sure.
So when we look at the cards in Craig's deck, which he has to side in, he has 3 Day of Judgment. He can try to adapt, become a more controlling route. In addition, he also has 4 Angelic Destiny. Because Lassen's deck is so light on removal, I actually really like Angelic Destiny here, and I might go for some sort of card like that.
I think that's a very fair play. In Nicholas's sideboard, he's got Corrosive Gale, which seems pretty good in this match. Maybe Oblivion Ring?
Probably Daybreak Ranger.
Daybreak Ranger, yeah, that's definitely a good one. He might be fearing a Gideon of sorts. I don't know, something worth O-ringing.
Yeah,
But I don't know how much... He doesn't want to really side in a whole bunch of non-creature spells because Thalia is so good in this matchup.
Right. There are some cards he may not want to keep in. In Wormcoil Engine, not really the kind of card you're looking for.
Not the worst, not the best.
Not the worst or the best. You really just you need to get to Elesh Norn, and your early plays are probably the more important ones. Viridian Corruptor has no targets, so that'll almost certainly come out as a pod target.
Yep. They're deep in the tank on this one, and got to make sure they're playing for top 8, right?
They are playing for a spot in top 8.
Those are always the good rounds.
Right. Nicholas Lassen with excellent breakers. It's very possible that even if he loses here, and Lassen's live, I believe is live for a top 8 spot. He's the best breakers of the X1s. Craig Wesco, on the other end of it, will be out with
in the first round.
Lost in the first round.
Yeah, his
we'll
breakers
definitely need it.
Probably can't be very good. Another interesting thing that I'm noticing now about Nicholas's list, he's playing 2 Gavany Township. A lot of people that I've talked to love that card, and I do myself in this deck. They almost insist on playing 3 just because naturally drawing it is just so good in any matchup. Brian was talking to me about it, and he said he would not even consider cutting one of them. So
right. A lot of times these pod decks don't need to be pod decks. We've seen a lot of times, mana creatures plus Strangleroot Geists plus Gavany Township, a fine strategy just by itself.
Definitely. Nicholas also is not supporting any Ray of Revelations, which I originally had in my list. I was like, man, I never side this card in. And then I took it out on Moto, and then I played against like 4 of Craig Wesco's decks in a row. And I really missed it. So I feel like it's a really good card whenever you need it. And
it's one of those really high variance cards. It's great. It's great in some matchups, but lots of times very dead.
Like Ancient Grudge, I feel like somebody's always going to have a sword. Kind of always want it, but... And I'm shuffling up for game 2 here. So what interesting decks have you guys seen today?
Well, some of them, we have seen a couple of them falling short of top 8. We had a Heartless Summoning deck, not the combo deck, but just actually on the game plan of many Wormcoil engines. Treasure Mages, Wormcoil engines. We've also seen a Tezzeret deck trying to lock people out with Curse of Exhaustion and Knowledge Pool, actually making its way to 5-0 before losing.
Really?
Yeah.
That's neat.
That was probably, I think, one of the most interesting decks we saw this weekend. As it is, the top 8 looks, as with the GP, Delver, I think, making a really big statement this weekend. The finals of the Grand Prix were recently just won by Shahar Shanar, a Delver mirror, and I believe in the top 8, 2 or maybe even 3 more Delver decks. So.
I believe Sharfman's playing the exact 75 of the list that won. Which GP was it? Not this one, but
GP Baltimore, possibly the one that Matt Costa.
No. The international G. I cannot believe I can't remember which.
One of the international ones. I don't know as much. Okay, Craig leading out on Champion of the Parish. Last time, as you recall, he traded with a Strangergeist. Didn't have many humans in play. I think this time a second champion. These are some of the scariest draws out of this deck.
Yes.
Whether it's an Anthem or gather the townsfolk, this can get
very ugly, very quickly.
Interestingly enough, the only humans which he plays Gather, Doom Traveler, Hero Bladehold, Champion of the Parish, and that's it. Lassen casting the Geist has to determine whether or not he really wants to attack here. He'll decide to do it.
Yep.
So,
I think it's a fair attack right there.
Well, he has to decide whether he wants to race or not. I think it's a bold statement on this board to look at that board and say that you'd like to race. Yes,
I completely agree. And now he might be regretting that decision to start his race.
Well, you have to assume that Craig will have some effect on this turn that will pump both the champions.
Right.
Or maybe not expect, but certainly not be surprised by it. Like, be ready to take 5. No, still no red on Nicholas's side of the board. Not many of these creatures actually cost red, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. In a lot of ways, he's definitely just a green-white deck.
Yep. Birthing Pod. Take 2.
Craig will be more than happy with that.
Yeah.
11.
Strangleroot's going to play defense for this turn.
Craig drew a Day of Judgment, so Craig did opt for a Day of Judgment plan. Not really fitting in with how this game has played out for him.
No, but definitely a really good security blanket.
So it seems like Craig doesn't have another way to pump his team. He does have an Oblivion Ring, so he kind of has to decide whether or not to Oblivion Ring the Geist or the Pod. I almost Oblivion Ringing the Geist to me, putting Lassen at 6, and Pod activations will now probably have to be paid for. I really do like that.
Yeah, and that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, Oblivion Ring. Yeah, and he's gonna go for the Geist.
Yep.
His hand, go for the throat. Day of Judgment. Is it 2 Day of Judgments or Day of Judgment Hero?
It is 2 Day of Judgments and something else.
And a go for the throat. So just removal.
Go for the throat.
These champions are going to have to go the distance. Which is not too much to ask for them, really.
Nicholas has to be very selective of what he does this turn, especially since Craig has that Day of Judgment.
And the red into play tapped.
Go for the throat.
Passing the turn would have been great, but
that is going to be really, really rough for Nicholas.
Remember, Nicholas has no instants in his deck, so we have to assume that Nicholas just doesn't have anything here. And he's going to go to 1. Post-combat, Craig's going to cast Lingering Souls. I don't really see how Nicholas pulls this one out.
Nope. He plays Huntmaster here, I guess. Goes to 3. Has 2 blockers, but he's got
4 in the air.
Yeah.
And I think in this matchup, Nicholas really needs to make sure that he doesn't keep the slow hands.
Yes.
The birthing pod hands, the guy like this kind of hand he's kept here. I think there's not many ways for Craig to kill the mana creatures, so the mana creatures are actually just 1 mana rampant growths here.
Yeah.
And I think he needs that extra speed. He really is hoping or should try to keep hands which can provide that.
Yeah. I think in this matchup, knowing the information that Nicholas knows, he almost wants to force himself to have a Thalia too. Being on the draw there.
In the absence of a birds or a pilgrim, I think a Thalia would suffice.
Yes.
I have no birds but Thalia.
This draw wouldn't have been that amazing for a Thalia, but it would have. It would have just been blocking all day for strikes.
The Oblivion Ring couldn't have resolved.
Well, Craig couldn't have been anywhere near as aggressive with those.
Yeah, the Thalia would have really shown it would have held off many turns. So Craig Wesco winning the second game. Which brings us back to game 3. Remember, top 8 on the line here. Craig Wesco and Nicholas Lassen.
Turns out Craig did not need the Day of Judgment plan, but had it anyways. Let's see if he keeps it in.
Yeah, it seems like he's reevaluating a bit. After drawing 2 Day of Judgments there, he was kind of mediocre.
Yeah.
Probably wish those were more threats.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's re-sideboarding. Maybe on the draw, the Day of Judgment plan's better, but I suspect he maybe has reevaluated his options.
If he does reevaluate the options, what do you think he took out in this matchup? What is what's bad here?
Well, it looks like he doesn't have many. I think Midnight Haunting is probably the first thing that goes. It's the worst token maker out of on the bunch. So my guess would be that would be the card he took out for it.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
How do you think he feels about the enchantments that pump his guys, the intangible virtues and the honor?
Well, they're just so explosive, and it really they're really what makes the deck home. I don't think you can get rid of maybe in control matchups you can get rid of them, but you have to be very judicious about cutting those. They're so good.
Right, but if you're siding in Dave Judgments, you can't really afford to side out creatures or things that produce creatures.
Right, and we saw that he had kept in honor of the pair that last round. Right. Maybe Intangible Virtue can leave. I'm not sure though.
That guy.
Certainly, I think Honor of the Pure is one of the untouchable cards in the deck.
Sure, yeah.
But his other plan, like I said before, was Angelic Destiny as a possibility,
right.
which I actually still like a bit.
Yeah.
Nicholas does have Fiend Hunter. If he's kept it in, he probably has for Hero. He does have Fiend Hunter. He does have an Acidic Slime, so it's not impossible for him to answer those. But
we really need it. It's really anyone's game with however aggressive their draw is. It appears someone just opened up a Time Vault out of the...
We had a couple Gold Rush packs left, and they were awarded to some players at the end of the day. And yeah, lo and behold, I was telling people, yeah, there was a Time Vault in it. So people asked me how many were left. I said, about 40. And I remember, it's like you're playing a game of Deal or No Deal. There's 42 cases left.
Yeah.
You go over the checklist. There is still one Time Vault left.
Yeah.
How much are these worth?
I have not seen all the moxes. A lot of the powers come back to the dealer booth, and people have just asked to appraise it, essentially.
Right. So which ones? I know that we've seen the Lotus. I've seen the
Lotus, the Pearl, the Ancestral, the Time Walk, the Twister. The Pearl is actually a really, really funny story. I think that it's one of the best things about this promotion. Apparently, these 5 kids walk up with. They each had a Gold Rush card. And they walk up to one of my guys and they say, which one of us got the most valuable card? And he said, well, you 4 got commons, and this card's worth like $300 and something. And they just had no idea, just completely freaked out about it. It was so fun to watch.
1-drop versus 1-drop. Lassen leads off on the Pilgrim. Craig on the Champion of the Parish. Being on the play is great here for Nicholas. And Blade Splicer, so right away.
Both look like they have very aggressive starts.
Yeah. Being on the play is just very excellent here. Craig's deck, while being really resilient, actually not the fastest aggro deck. He has a Go for the Throat, 2 more lands, an Intangible Virtue. He's going to just gather some townsfolk. A great start with the Champion, but actually not able to swing through the Golem this time. So you're just going to have to pass back.
He's forced to pass here.
So actually there were there were 120 Gold Rush packs back.
Right.
So, left. So yeah, my Deal or No Deal example, there's a checklist. There's still good things left, but what I think will be fun is, in a couple weeks, I think there'll probably still be a couple, maybe 10 unopened ones.
No, they're all getting handed out today.
So, but I know some people who are intentionally not opening them.
Oh, that's true.
They're waiting, to see, as the number goes down, just what your odds are. O-Ring spent on Champion of the Parish, pretty good play. But what I don't like was it only hits for 3. And this does give Wesco, he does have a Hero of Blade hold in his hand.
Right. I feel like Hero is such a threatening card in this matchup that he might have been better off just saving the O-Ring for...
Yeah, only 2 Oblivion Rings for Nicholas Lassen, both out of the board.
I guess he uses those very conservatively.
Wesco's going to swing in. I doubt we'll see a block here, and we don't. So 20 to 18 to 17. And just more tokens, Lingering Souls.
I like that this is actually going to be a game instead of just I had a really aggressive draw and went first.
Right, this is our first real battle here. I think I give the edge right now to Craig. He has the best inevitability on this board. Nicholas is going to have to, show a way to reach his own inevitability. Say he plays a Birthing Pod here, then Nicholas has his plan of, I'm going to make it to Elishnor and you have to do something about it.
Yeah.
Maybe even a Huntmaster.
A little bit of a clock here.
But it looks like he does have, so he has 1 card left. I believe Nicholas's last card is a Gavoni Township, which actually is a superb card to have on this board.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
2 Spirits, and with 1 card left, Craig's almost certainly just going to make Hero of Blade hold on this turn. With an Honor of the Pure in his hand. Does he not? He has the land for
He does.
Right?
He has a Isolated Chapel.
All right. So I think so he has two options. He can either Anthem and swing, and he's actually going to choose just to Anthem and swing, which I suppose this is 8. This is a ton of damage.
Yeah.
It's probably the play. So Nicholas,
he's going to start. He said, "Let's race, Nicholas."
Yeah. Nicholas, with a Gavoni Township here, cannot afford to make any trades. That'd be disastrous until his creatures have gotten bigger. So he'll probably just take the A tier. I imagine Craig post-combat, I think we'll see 2 more souls.
Yep.
And then Nicholas, the Gavoni Township no longer looks like it can win this race. And this is, I think when we were talking about anthems, this is why I don't want the anthems gone.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah. It's just so explosive here. So Gavoni Township comes down for Lassen. We still don't know his last draw. But judging on, by his demeanor, I would say rough for him.
He's doing combat math and saying
math. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, life pad 10.
I feel like he gets to 2, 4. He's just like,
I don't know if that's Elishnorn, is it?
It's
Wormcoil Engine. Sigh of relief, I suppose. If that was tapping, that could have been tapping somewhere else. Elishnorn was probably even his single best draw. I don't believe he can survive this attack. Can he? Well, maybe. No, actually. All right. It's only 8 in the air. Dropping Nicholas to 2, he can gain back 6 of it.
Yep. Although I feel like Craig has a pretty good play of just attacking, forcing him to attack with Wormcoil, doomblading his own guy, and killing him in the air. Yep, he attacks. Plays. Looks like another Lingering Souls.
Yep, there's more of them. It's very possible.
So that is the route that Craig is going to go.
Well, from Craig's side of the board, maybe he can block a Wormcoil.
He's going to block a Wormcoil.
He's going to block a Wormcoil and swing back for more.
No, he's going to block more. He can block Wormcoil and just off his own guy. Stop him from gaining life. He's got the go for the throw in hand.
He does. I don't. Maybe necessary. Maybe not. He can actually with the amount of. And I think that's the plan he's going for. Say he doesn't have to go for the throw. He can probably just make 2 more Lingering Souls and actually tell Nicholas fine, gain 6 life.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
he might swing back because there's so much more. Just needs Nicholas not to draw the Elishnorn here, which I don't think we've seen a windmill slam. So.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that one just comes down. That's always the worst feeling whenever your opponent just kind of thinks. Taps mana, untaps mana. All right, yeah, I'll play Elishnorn.
Massacre Worm,
Destroy you.
Yeah. 2 cards in hand.
Neither one of which.
Well, actually, a Birthing Pod is now a live draw as well, but I don't think he has it.
Yeah. All right, there. Nicholas is deep in the tank. He's facing a lot of damage right here, and he needs to make sure that he gets to gain some life back, or kills a lot of creatures. It's a really, really awkward situation right here. Would have been so much easier just to draw the pod or the
Elishnorn.
I wonder how many seconds of his thinking is just sitting there like, man, why did I draw that pod?
So thinking long, I don't know how much there is to think about. All right, he's going to swing everything. Let's see what Craig does. Not many creatures Craig needs to be worried about. He has so much extra damage here. Just block everything.
Yeah.
Block everything.
No reason to risk it. Block.
And he could have drawn Corrosive Gale. I guess that's another good out.
Ooh, yeah. I didn't think about that one.
Which actually, Craig opting not to lose his second human token, and if he does that, Corrosive Gale no longer an ouch if he makes that block. Which actually I think is a really astute move where he moves it to the Blade Splicer. The human not flying Nicholas Lassen at 2, Corrosive Gale no longer an out.
Yeah, definitely. Craig always thinks about every angle. I like it. pump with Gavin Township. Go for the throat, my guy. Nicholas knows he's in Tarble. And he scoops it up, yep.
And he scoops up. All right, Craig Wesco. So after our round 1 feature match, defeated round 1, now in the top 8 of our 9-round open.
Grinding through
Craig
it.
Wesco.